Well, I was born at Ramsholt in 1930,
Yeah.
which is 92 years ago,
Yeah.
and I've been the official harbour master for 42 years.
Fantastic. You say your father was doing it before for how many
He's
years?
done it from 1960.
And I guess the actual harbour itself hasn't changed very much in all that time. It's pretty much as it was when you took it over.
That's right, there's only a few more boats, that's all.
Just a few more boats. Tell me about the quay when you were younger. Tell me about the harbour here. What sort of things happened on the harbour as harbour master? What
Early in the wartime, that the old quay was all washed away. I mean, early in the must have been in the 30s. There used to be barges on there bringing in coal and stuff and taking hay away to London for the horses.
Yeah.
And then they had the 57 flood come in, and it washed all over the way. And there's a big boat called Genesta on the side there, which belonged to Captain Gilby, who was the gin people.
Oh, Gilby's gin.
Yeah, and he had a skipper on board, and that broke the ropes and ended up on the Sultans over there. And they had the Borstal boys had to come and dig it out because it was a heavy, big tide.
Goodness
and
me.
it drawed a lot of water. And then after that, after 53 flood, the 59, the Quilter family and the Simper family who farmed here rebuilt the quay. I mean, up until then there was all holes all round and all the wooden stuff had gone. And then we used to have more. After that, we used to park all the boats on the fishing the old smacks, wooden smacks. Used to be parked along the quay all winter, 3 deep along there.
And how long ago was that they stopped using the quay commercially?
Oh, that must have been in the 30s.
In the 1930s.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how these little quays change over the years.
Yeah, because
unlike Ramsholt, Warford, and
Methersgate Quay as well.
Yes.
And they all belonged to, and one at the Wilford Bridge was a quay there.
Yeah.
And the Quilters all owned all that lot.
And they used it for their own business.
They used it for their own business and with the barges.
Tell us what you remember from. You were 14 when the bomber crashed.
Yeah, well, I was 14. We were working on the farm then.
Yeah.
And it was 7:30 in the morning when that crashed in the water. And we were working on the farm, and in the evening when we come down and saw it there, we just see the tail end of the plane at low water, out of the water. And then the next night we come down again, and they'd got some pontoons down and tied the pontoons around it to lift it up. As it took water come in, that lifted the plane off the bottom of the mud.
Yeah.
And they had a bit of tank on the grass there with a long wire on, and they pulled it up on the mud right up on the beach. And then they took the bodies out. The next day the Americans come down and took the bodies out and took them away, and the pilot and co-pilot got out, and the chap called Arthur Hunt, he was a skipper of a boat for the Gilby's gin people, and he used to tie it on the quay just here. And he was down here that morning, him and a mate of his, and they got their motor launch and picked the 2 people up. They rescued them, and they were alive. They were all right.
They were sitting on the mud, were they?
No, they picked them up, floating out when they see the plane come down, and they launched their motorboat and picked the 2 out what was in the water.
Okay. And when did you first see it? Did you first see it when it was in the water?
We just sort of the next night, well, the same night, we could see it low water. We could see the tail end of the plane sticking out of the water. And then the next night when we come down, they'd put the pontoons around it, and the next day they pulled it up on the beach, and we could see it all then. And they laid up on the beach you see the pictures in the pub.
How long was it up on the beach here for?
Oh, several months it laid up on the beach, right up on the sand.
Yeah.
And all us youngsters around here used to play in it.
Yeah.
Because we'd never been in a plane before, or ever been in a plane since. That was the only plane I've ever been in, and we used to sit in the pilot's cockpit and play around with all the things. And they took the bombs out because the bombs weren't loaded. Yeah. Apparently they don't load them until they get to Germany when they want to drop them.
They don't fuse them.
They don't fuse them. So they took the bombs out and the bodies out and left it on the beach there. And the Americans used to had a big had a tent, and they used to be on guard down here, but they never took any notice of young boys flying around in it.
They didn't go in the pub and spend most of the time in the pub.
No, they did, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you remember the night. What was the actual story? What happened with the bomber that you can remember?
Well, the actual bomber left the base at
Debden, wasn't it? Debich, sorry.
Debich. And that one engine caught fire. And they ditched it because that was one engine was alight. But apparently that plane had been in trouble before. They had engine trouble, and they'd had to come back from Germany and crash landed. So the actual plane itself had been in trouble before they had landed in the water here. And then when we had that deal here 3 years ago, all the Americans, the relatives of the dead people, and the pilot's daughter was with them, and she gave a speech on the telly about it.
Yeah, she didn't even know his war story until after he died, I believe, and she found a box, and in the box was all his memories of his wartime exploits here in East Anglia.
Oh yeah, because there's a chap that come down from Hertfordshire somewhere. He's written a story about it.
Yeah.
He knew. He come down to every time we have a reunion there. He come down. He was down there this year when they done it.
I see. It's a very unfortunate case, because you would have thought in such shallow water in the mud that they would have been able to get out.
Yeah, because that was high tide then when they went in.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is, they did say that one of the crew at the bottom got stuck in the door when they opened the door.
Yeah, I see.
But they got the parachutes on and he couldn't get out.
So the actual parachute was probably the reason why he couldn't actually get out the door in the first place. Because
they reckon that's why. I mean, the pilot and co-pilot got out because they were up top.
Yeah.
They could get out all right.
Oh.
I mean, that was all underwater, but they could get out. But when they opened the door to let the other ones out of the water, just gushed in and they just drowned.
Goodness me, that must have been, as a 14-year-old, it must have been quite exciting, but as you went through your life you must have thought about that incident several times over the years.
Oh, you could do every year. We have reunions ever since that done.
Yeah.
They had a reunion in the pub do all the time. We used to have a flag and put the flag half-mast, and the rector used to come down from Waldenfield and have a service on the quay here.
I see.
And I used to take my motorboat with flowers and put some flowers and some of the crew where the plane dropped in the water.
George Collins, thank you very much again for your time. And I wish you the best of luck.
That's all right. Thank you very much.
92, you're only now coming into your prime, so
Yeah, sure.
we can look forward to the next 30 years. Thank you very much indeed.
All right.
Cheers.